Because your government's once again asking for sweeping powers for any minister or the Prime Minister to exempt any entity or company from any law or regulation in Canada with the exemption of the Criminal Code. Just a yes or no, does this include the Conflict of Interest Act?
I have a hard time seeing how that would apply in an innovation context.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
It's a simple question, though.
Well, it's not as simple as you make it out to be. It's like if there's a circumstance you're trying to get at, maybe you could provide clarity or color around.
The provision itself says exempt any entity from the application of a provision of an Act of Parliament. Is the Conflict of Interest Act not an Act of Parliament?
Well, we're waiting.
Sure. I'm trying now to think of the manner in which that would be a person would be exempted from.
It's a straight yes or no. Would the Conflict of Interest Act, could it be exempt by a minister of the Crown under this new provision?
I've not dug into the specific issue, but you're uniquely dealing with an area that applies to people who benefit from parliamentary privilege, who you would exempt from certain kinds of acts. It's just a more complicated question the minute you start thinking about it. Than you give it credit for.
I think it's pretty clear from here that it would exempt a company could be exempt from the Conflict of Interest Act if the Prime Minister or a minister were to deem so.
And but in what innovation context? I'm just, and not to even disagree, but just to understand your question.
Okay, let's put it into an example then. Let's say a company like Brookfield.
What?
Which obviously has conflicts with the Prime Minister, is going to be getting a contract, or a minister is looking into whether to approve a contract for them or not. Could they be exempt from the Conflict of Interest Act by a minister after this is passed?
Under the way you've described it, I'm not certain that's how it would operate. I think on balance, though, if there are things that you think need to be corrected, that could be improved, the integrity of the Act to be strengthened, this is a great forum to make amendments. But let's not lose sight of the forest for the trees, because we're going to lose out from an economic point of view when all of our competitor economies are playing in this space if we choose not to.
You have to understand why we are bringing these concerns forward. It's been reported, even in the Toronto Star. Many Canadians are very concerned about this because it's sweeping powers that you're giving. And I'll give you another example, because it's concerning also that you don't know whether that would fall under the Conflict of Interest Act or not. And you should, I would imagine you would, that you're the Justice Minister and Attorney General. And in one way, you're also legal counsel for the Cabinet. But here's another example. If a minister has a conflict with, let's say, a Chinese state-owned company who's also looking to get an approval for a research, grant or approval in Canada, would they be also exempt from the Conflict of Interest Act with this provision?
So I find it uniquely unhelpful to assess in the hypothetical the range of possible different things to come out without the specific facts.
These are things that could happen, correct, after this provision is passed. That's why I'm putting these examples in front of you.
Yeah, it's just
and it's concerning that you're not answering any of these questions.
Well, I'm seeking to. You may not like my answer, but I'm seeking to engage in good faith in this conversation right now.
Are you serious?
And if you think that there is a way that you can protect the integrity and the manner in which these authorities would be used...
Should that not have been thought of before this was put in the BIA itself?
Well, I think the protections that were put in the BIA do protect against the harm that you're concerned with. Mr. Allen, if you'd like me to answer the question, I'm trying, but it's hard when you speak over me in order to do it.
Oh, come on!
The protections that were included in the bill, they do exist. There's time limit. You have to specify the purpose. It has to be done in public. Those are very real protections. The piece where I'm struggling with your question, sorry, what's that?
None of those provisions, but they include the Conflict of Interest Act.
So the challenge that I'm envisioning with how a person would use it in the context of the Conflict of Interest Act
the only person that could use it is a minister or prime minister, correct?
This would be limited. The authorities contemplated are certainly for members of cabinet. Yes.
Exactly. So it would apply to someone like yourself. So if a company like Brookfield, who obviously has conflicts with the Prime Minister, was to apply for a grant, they could be granted a conflict of interest under this provision, correct?
So I wouldn't scope out, there's better protections in my mind to prevent conflicts, and we all comply with them. We all have certain ethical requirements as a result of the code.
But this is
Yeah, right.
outside of that, you're asking for these powers. This isn't something that's currently here right now. That's why we're concerned. That's why I'm asking these questions to you.
So
Thank
if you do
Sorry,
have...
Minister, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you.